Hi there! When I was a kid, we didn't have any of these newfangled DVDs, we had VHS tapes. My dad had rather a large collection, which fell mainly into one of two groups. The first group were films that he'd recorded from television, and the second group were cheap C-list movies starring no one you ever heard of that he bought for like 25p on the market. Today I'm going to review a film that comes from that second group, Eliminators. How can this possibly be bad? I mean, look at the tagline. Mandroid, mercenary, scientist, ninja. Throw a pirate and a zombie in there and you've got every internet user's dream. It's like someone said, hey, let's make a film where all the most awesome fictional archetypes are kicking ass together. Look at them standing all badass in front of an explosion like that. How can it be possibly anything less than awesome? Oh, trust me, you'll see. We start with the opening shot of the Mandroid's eye with a warp field effect around it, with cutaway to a pilot crashing what looks like a World War II era plane, and Roman Centurions being shot with lasers. I will say that this shot lets you know exactly what you're in for. Lots of random plot points, cheap special effects, and a really crappy looking Mandroid costume. Why is he a Mandroid anyway? An android is a robot that looks human, but this guy was a human originally, so doesn't that make him a cyborg? Was the English language just not awesome enough to contain the concepts within this film without having to come up with an entirely new word? Anyway, the film starts with a couple of scientists working on an experiment. They bring back a metal pod containing the Mandroid. He gives them a shield as evidence. Evidence of what? Well, the film tries to make it a big mystery, but it's obvious from the very start that he's been back in time. One of the scientists, who we find out is called Takada, congratulates him and sends him off for maintenance. But the other one, who we find out is called Abbott Reeves, isn't so thrilled and tells Takada to destroy him.
For God's sake, show some compassion.
What compassion was ever shown to me?
Reeves ordered me to dismantle you. We must escape this place tonight.
Before they can escape, they have to get John's mobile unit, which is just stupid. It's bad enough that it's big and pretty slow, but it doesn't offer any extra protection, has no extra weapons, and with the Mandroid sticking out of the front like that, it'd obviously be unstable anyway. Its only plus side is that it's slightly faster than walking, but seeing as Takada is coming too and he apparently can't even sit on it, what's the point? Reeves apparently knows that they're escaping and sends his guards, who I think he picked up at the local bar because they're just a bunch of shotgun-wielding hicks. Anyway, Reeves orders the Mandroid to kill Takada, but predictably he ignores his programming and shoots at the hicks instead. Takada somehow gets shot in the chest anyway, despite standing facing the wall the whole time. The Mandroid is all ready to go pound Reeves' head in, but Takada convinces him to go find Colonel Hunter. He blasts his way out, but not before the head hick, a guy called Ray, introduces him to his very favourite gun.
You got him! He ain't down yet!
Look at that thing, it's ridiculous. It has 3 scopes on it, and is that a barcode scanner on top? Never mind, it's not like we'll ever see it again. Anyway, they kind of just stop shooting for a while, letting the Mandroid blow up a wall and escape. He parks up the mobile unit, for some reason, and heads off. The next scene is in a lab somewhere in the US. A scientist played by Denise Crosby, who you'll probably know better as Tasha Yar from Star Trek The Next Generation, is testing out a little robot called Spot, who apparently was built to turn into a ball of light and zip around breaking stuff. But who should come into the room but the Mandroid?
Ow! Just who the hell are you?
It turns out this is Colonel Hunter, and she designed the Mandroid's limbs. We also find out that the Mandroid was turned into what he is about a year ago, which was around the same time that Reeves apparently died.
This whole lab is funded by the Reeves Foundation. Now you tell me that Reeves is still alive. And what's more, he's stolen my designs and bastardized them. No offense.
And what relevance does this have to the plot, I hear you ask? Why, none at all, of course. It just brings up extra questions. Like, why was the Mandroid flying a World War II era plane in the mid-80s? How is Reeves still getting tech from the lab when everyone at the lab thinks he's dead? Why did he disappear at the same time that John's plane crashed? Is it just a coincidence? Or, you know, was he just sitting around waiting for someone to die? If he needed a body that badly, he's a scientist. He could just requisition one. Or if he couldn't do that, he's a villain. He could just kill someone. This only gets more confusing later on, by the way, so, you know, I'll come to that when we get to it. The mandroid took a bullet to the head, so Hunter starts screwing around with his memory chips, which causes him to start hallucinating, and he's going to carry on hallucinating for the rest of the film. Nice work, Colonel.
I want to go to Mexico with you.
No.
You need a full-time mechanic, my friend.
We get a short interlude with a couple of muggers, where the mandroid, who we find out is called John, although given he doesn't remember his past, it's a mystery how he knows that, gets his only one-liner of the film.
Come on, let's go! You're the one who'll need body work.
Next we move to Mexico, where it turns out they've decided to go looking for John's plane. Why they don't just go back to Reeve's place I don't know, but there it is. Hunter heads to a local bar to hire a guide, which goes about as well as you'd expect.
I want the toughest guide in the place.
The woman beating the crap out of everyone is Bayou Betty. The guy knocking her out with a bottle is Harry Fontana. No, not Hannah Montana, Harry Fontana. The team head off downriver, but Betty is not happy about being beaten to a customer and gives chase. But don't worry, Harry has a cunning plan.
I saw this in a movie once.
Unfortunately, the plan sucks, as Betty realises she can just climb back into her boat. In the end, John breaks his cover by firing a torpedo at them. For those keeping count, that's 4 different weapons in his arm so far. Harry gets annoyed and stops the boat, but starts again when John reveals himself to be cosplaying as the Terminator.
Shut up and drive.
You got it, big guy.
What's the point of John's disguise anyway? He only ever wears it in this film in front of 4 people. Fontana, Hunter and the 2 muggers. And in every single one of those cases, he gives himself away almost immediately anyway. Ray turns up to find out from Betty that the team are on the way and heads off after them. We never see Betty again, which is a shame as she's probably the most interesting character in the film. Meanwhile, John and Hunter part ways with Harry, saying it's too dangerous for him. Of course, Harry is immediately accosted by Ray.
Quo Vadis. What's that mean? That's Italian. Means we kick ass.
Ray tries to bribe Harry into ratting out the others, but he shoots them with a fire extinguisher and escapes. They catch up to him downstream and speed up to ram him, but luckily Harry has another trick up his sleeve. Meanwhile, Hunter and John come across a primitive stone axe in a really obvious bit of foreshadowing. Spot returns and leads them to the plane. John says that now they've found the plane, they can follow the river to Reeve's compound. So the only reason that you were going for the plane is to use it as a waypoint to find your way to the compound you've already come from. Remember earlier when I said that circumstances about what happened a year ago are only going to get more complicated? Well, this is why. You could just about accept that John was flying a World War II era plane for a stunt show or something, but why would he be flying over the Mexican jungle? And why didn't a rescue crew come for him? He signalled for a mayday. Did Abbott Reeves just build a compound in the jungle around that time and hope that someone was going to fall out of the sky for his research? Or did he just find it and think, waste not, want not? What was his plan if nothing had turned up? It's never implied that he caused the plane crash, in case you're wondering, but even that would just add further questions. Or did he go and build the compound because he'd heard that John's plane had crashed there? If that's the case, what would he have done if the body had been too damaged? And why go to that kind of trouble anyway? And how did he get the body out of the plane? It makes no sense! John wants to move on, apparently not caring about answering any of those questions, but Hunter decides to check out the plane.
Nora, please. It's too dangerous.
Yeah, real heroic there, tough guy. Nora, please. It's too dangerous. Oh, I guess she's gone. Nothing I can do about it. Nope. I'll just stand here, watch drown. Anyway, Nora swims into the wreckage and starts to look around, but oh no, it starts sinking. This is a totally unexpected happenstance. John leaps into action with another of his handy dandy attachments, but it's just not enough. Luckily, Harry pops out of nowhere to save her. I guess the plane wasn't hard to find after all.
I'm drowning in here, you pirate!
You know, you really shouldn't call a man trying to make an honest living a pirate.
The trio head off in the boat, with Hunter giving John a photo she found in the wreckage. They cause more hallucinations in John, who falls off the boat, taking Spot with him.
John! Oh my God!
Yeah, that plane investigation really worked out for you, didn't it? And check out the concern from Harry here.
You'd want us to keep going.
It's your nickel.
Cold. We finally get another look at our villain, just in case you'd forgotten who he was, and he's grafting some kind of lightning-based tractor beam onto his arm. When Ray tells him that the boat got destroyed, he's not pleased. And now, oh, I guess John's waterproof. Of course that just means he was more of an arse for not helping Hunter when she was trapped in the plane, but oh well. He comes across a man who's fishing via telekinesis. Let's see that again. Masterful special effects work there, I have no idea how they pulled that one off. This turns out to be Kuji, the son of Takada, the scientist from the start of the film, and our ninja. He hasn't heard from his dad in some time though. Oh, yeah, right. Meanwhile, Harry and Hunter are taken captive by cavemen? Seriously, cavemen. Who apparently can not only make cage traps strong enough to hold a man, but have placed them underwater just in case someone was pulling a stalled boat, and have enough knowledge of pulleys to hoist the cage up again. In case you haven't realised, this film really ramps up the stupid about halfway through. But wait, there's more! These aren't just any cavemen, oh no, they are...
Hey! Fruity caveman?
Harry kisses Hunter as a ruse to give her some bullets to throw in the fire.
That's it, Flintstone.
They tried to make a getaway, but the cavemen stopped them. Luckily, Kuji shows up and beats the crap out of them with nunchucks.
Name's Kuji. I came with John Doe.
Wait, John isn't his real name, it's John Doe. I've been here for 2/3 of the film now, trying to work out how anyone knew his name, and now I find out it's just a lame pseudonym. Fine. Fine, I don't care. Carry on. Fine.
That takes care of them.
What?
Let's get out of here.
Kuji hit 2 of them, and you shot at 1 other.
You know,
Where
they
are
don't
all the
speak
rest? Ah, screw it, that's the least of the plot holes at this point.
Nora?
And by the way, in case you're wondering how John, who in case you haven't noticed isn't quite a normal human being, managed to survive being underwater for so long, don't worry, they've got you covered.
Biofed oxygen transcribers?
Of course. Silly me.
Why are they wasting time dealing with minor plot points like that when there's such bigger ones left unfilled?
Get up. Thank you, sir.
They escape on a raft powered by... No. No, 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 no.
Slow down!
I can't. Malfunction. Hold on. We're gonna hit.
The laser and the rocket launcher, fine. The torpedo launcher and the knockout gas, I'll go with it. The grappling hook and the electromagnet, a little strange, but I'll buy it. But I draw the line at outboard motor legs. I'm sorry, no, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would he have them? And this business about them malfunctioning and he couldn't stop, why not just, lift them out of the water or curl them underneath the raft so they're slowing them down instead of speeding them up, or take off the legs like he had to do to get in the mobile unit. This film is so stupid, so incredibly, frustratingly stupid.
What is this, anyway? Some kind of goddamn comic book?
Speaking of the mobile unit, they come across this and realise that they're close. Hunter sends Spot to check out the compound, and then they sit down to talk about Takada.
In his last letter, my father said he and Reeves designed a prototype. A machine that can travel through time.
That would explain the cavemen. Reeves must have brought them here.
No, I'm sorry, that does not explain the cavemen. While it's not quite clear how much time has passed since the start of the film, it's clear that the Mandroid going back was their very first successful time travel experiment. Why between then and now, however long has passed, would Reeves suddenly start bringing cavemen back to the future? I mean, besides, as you'll find out soon enough, he's not interested in those times, he's just interested in Rome. But we'll come to that when we get to it. Back at the campsite, Ray and the Hicks have somehow found them and attack on trikes. John gets in the mobile unit and decides to fight back. Huh. I'm just kind of impressed that the production team actually knew how unstable the mobile unit design was.
Over here!
The others get separated, and Hunter manages to knock the Hick off the trike before Kuji scares him off. And I know what you're thinking, but Crocodile Dundee actually came out a few months after this film. John has some existential issues which come to the film too late in the two dull to be worth mentioning. Hunter kisses him, which I guess makes this a love triangle with those two and Harry, and Spot comes back from his scouting mission.
It's malfunctioning. I can't understand a word.
No!
Luckily, Kuji takes care of this. But why did this happen? Oh no, they can't possibly be going to... Ah!
Oh, come on.
Turn back now, or die.
Sounds like good advice.
No, 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 no! I'm sorry, this is already an incredibly goofy film, but I just refuse to believe that the evil scientist is devious enough to work out that the ninja that he doesn't know about will cut the robot in half and then wire it up in such a way that the smoke from the destroyed robot will not only create your image, moving image, but use it to create sound to deliver a message. No, there's suspension of disbelief, and then there's this. The group sneak into the compound. John goes to assault the main gate while the rest try to break in for an air vent. As is traditional, it's blocked by a giant rotating fan. How will they get past? Will Harry come up with a trick to stop it? Or maybe Hunter will... Huh. Okay, I'll admit, that was cool.
Hey!
They break into Reeves' treasure chamber, filled with Roman artefacts, and amongst them are some Latin papers which clue them into Reeves' plan.
It's a declaration. Reeves has perfected time travel. I think he intends to go back and rule ancient Rome.
But if he changes the past...
He already apparently brought a load of cavemen to the present day. If that hasn't changed the past, nothing will.
Let's find that lie up.
Harry has routinely been the smartest, sneakiest member of the group, so naturally he chooses this moment to set off an alarm by trying to steal an artifact from the big bad secret treasure chamber. John follows this with his best impression of someone who's gotten home to find he forgot his keys.
Come back! Open the gate!
Reeves lets him in for some reason and shows that he's captured the rest of the group. John surrenders and Reeves' men bring out his secret weapon.
Prepare the iron disruptor.
My pleasure, Mr. Reeves.
Its beam will turn your atoms inside out.
Luckily, Kuji manages to take out the guards and throw his shuriken in the disruptor without any of the other 30 guys with guns noticing. With the guards taken care of, instead of going after Reeves, they decide to just pose for the trailer and call him out.
Reeves! Come out and face me!
Now prepare to meet your maker.
my god, it's so smoky, I can't see a thing! Okay, I'll buy that Reeves made himself an android suit and styling it after Roman armour is okay, but how did he make himself young again? I mean, I get that if you're a scientist in a Hollywood movie, you're meant to know everything about everything, but this film really takes it to a whole new level. We've got Colonel Hunter, who's experienced in AI and robotics and teleportation and laser technology and is a skilled martial artist and apparently an anthropologist. And then we've got Reeves, who can do everything that Hunter can do, but better, and also he can travel through time, he can somehow program robots so that when you destroy them they deliver messages, and oh yeah, he's found the elixir of youth. And bear in mind here that in the movie timeline, last time we saw him was less than a day ago, when he was all still old and kind of scarred. That's right, in a matter of hours, Reeves changed himself from this to this. John attacks Reeves while the others get to cover, but his laser can't hurt him, so he changes his weapon arm. Ooh, what weapon's it going to be this time? Is it going to be a plasma launcher, a mini nuke, a graviton beam, a gun that fires smaller guns that fire bees?
I've got to help him. No! Reeves will cut you to shreds.
Yeah, it's not like you can dodge laser blasts. Oh, yeah, you can.
John's our only hope. They've killed him.
Yep, you're screwed. Reeves fires this shield orb force field thing from his shield, holding the others in place.
This thing is getting smaller.
You've got to hand it to this guy, he does a good evil laugh. But John's not finished yet as he races to save his friends, really slowly.
He's alive. Don't touch the web, it's charged.
He knows. He's dead.
Bye! Time for the epic final showdown. They find Reeves and everyone just kind of looks at each other. They don't do anything to stop Reeves getting in the time machine, and Reeves doesn't do anything to stop them reaching the controls, because in this film everyone is stupid.
No, he's still in transit. We have a chance if I can just find the access code.
Counter's slowing down.
We're too late.
I knew I should have learned computer programming.
No, please, not that. Anything but the old person who doesn't know how to use a computer, hitting random buttons and making the impossible happen gimmick. Please, anything but that.
You've sent him back to 435 million BC. Abbott Reeves is the ruler of nothing.
And that's it, roll credits. The thing is, this movie, for all of its gaping plot holes, low budget special effects and pathetic script writing, is pretty fun actually. It's just so stupid that it's impossible to take offence at. It's cheesy and incredibly 80s, and you know, it's got Tasha Yar from Star Trek: Next Generation in.